Talking about Kartuz and forgetting about Aresh's existence is a crime. Aresh in its entire existence is literally the Ballas of the GTA universe. Why Ballas? Cause why not Akberes? Would say Grove Street, but Grove Street is already Bangladesh. So Aresh, Ballas canonically. Let's think this true too. Both are recidivist and both are districts. So the only difference? One is in Los Santos, which is definitely not Los Angeles from Temu, which forgets Glendale out of all places. The other one? Yerevan. Just like Los Santos has Ballas, Vagos and Grove Street, Yerevan has Aresh. So why divide it if Aresh is Itak, a division of Erebuni altogether? About sites? What sites, Akber? You think I'm organizing a tour right here? Aresh has no sites, cause Aresh is the site. After all, we're talking about the hub of Kartu civilization. If not, then one of the hubs, of course. But how? How did Aresh gain this entire reputation around it? How did Aresh become the OG Kartu site? So grab your coffees from your local aparat and join the Akhberitsun, cause you know the drill. Wopshem, Aresh wasn't always like this. Founded at some time around 1945 to 1946, this is one of the go-to areas for diasporans who wanted to come to Armenia only to realize the limitations of communism and starvation. Well, lucky for them, Armenian SSR was actually pretty decent. It was the model state, so none of the bad stuff came except for the fact that Soviets rip you off by promising you huge opportunities only for you to end up becoming a statistic. Well, come on, it isn't that bad. Okay, I get it. Many people, specifically from Egypt, Syria, Greece and beyond, moved to Aresh. Think about it. Different habits, different people, different music, all came to end up reshaping the place, and for good. Aresh back then was actually quite decent as a neighborhood. Not this concrete mutant just Lervel in the middle of Erebuni. Aresh then had houses which end up looking like someone copy-pasted the back rooms or something. Houses which had one floors, were similar, with open yards, no walls, no fences, and streets coming back and forth. Back in the day, you would be able to walk to Kentron from Aresh in 15 minutes. Now, an hour give or take if there's gonna be a propka or not. Obviously, life flourished here. So much so that kids played in yards, sometimes breaking windows and get their balls torn apart for it. Eventually, Dilkhor went home, realizing that rubber is quite expensive in the Soviet Union, only to come back again the next day and repeating the same thing over and over. Inchasem, peak childhood moment for sure. Not now, where kids end up doom scrolling YouTube shorts 24/7. In the very center of Aresh, there is this one place known as Aresh's House of Culture. You know, I always wondered what would happen if you managed to squeeze a theater, a library and cinema into one building. Absolute cinema, Eli. This was the go-to area of Aresh for sure. I mean, it showed Bollywood films, Russian films, all on rental, sometimes even Western movies. And if you think that's not peak enough, they played jazz and rock. And fun fact, Zakharud used to come there a lot back in the day. When he returned to Armenia after being absent for a long time, one of the first buildings he went to visit is this House of Culture. It was so peak he teared up too. Trust me, I got my sources. Your average Areshzi from that time was a craftsman, a tailor or a Basturma maker. That entire district back in the day had garlic in the air, and it was so intense you would feel like it's the deepest abyss of hell. Regardless, getting Basturma from there was one whole ritual. Imagine having Basturma that is so goated that you had to go there just to get their Basturma. You come, arrange time, come back, get the Basturma, and leave. And it was so fast that the Tagain police would never notice. Maybe they did and they were like, no need to haraman lili. Vopshem, Temas. Before Temas, you had friend courts, which are basically family-friendly version of the Temas. Informal community trials where disputes were resolved without courts or judges. Fully moral and not ruthless, giving you the opportunity to look like Saul Goodman in the USSR. Not now, where Temas require peak diplomacy so you won't end up in a cockmatch situation. So at the end of the day, what happens in Aresh stays in Aresh. Pretty cool, huh? Well, until the 1990s. When the USSR collapsed, Armenia hit its worst energy crisis ever. Also known as Mututsur Tariner, people got electricity for 1 hour for the entire day. No heat, no stability, and infrastructure eventually turned out to be crappy. This entire survival Tasovkas eventually ended up turning Areshtsiz into one of the most powerful businessmen around. I mean, at this time, people stole headlights, stereos from cars to sell them with a higher price. Some sold cigarettes straight out of the pack. Some sold gum. Parks eventually became walls of depression. And trees, they were cut down. Eventually, deformed houses replaced those parks, and the entire situation was so chaotic that you would feel like depression hit this place way too hard. At this point, the entire social fabric hardened, and so did stonks. And here we are today. So if you say you're from Aresh, you're either a Kyartu Aftarizet or you're just a regular guy. Either way, you end up upholding the Banyad Codex and swear your life on it. And what is Aresh known for now? Loqsh. But in every loqsh there is always a side quest. A small window which will make you forget the fact that you are in deep loqsh. Buying cigarettes for a friend, larvasnel in the same spot for too long as you cheshtavel about a girl to see whether or not she is the one. Sometimes you get izmen, sometimes not. Depends. Play Bazar Blot until 3 AM like you mean it. Char or be char. So basically you're still in loqsh, but at least be in loqsh with style. Unlike Bangladesh, which depresses you with commie blocks, Aresh depresses you with the same loqsh that made it turn to what it is now. Just Kyartus and Kyartusis existing. The average Kyartu density is high, and it replaced the diasporans way too hard. Each street tells you a story, cause after all, streets in Aresh are numbered and not named. Aresh is the neighborhood which keeps being called average while carrying the urban history on its back. Built by the working class, shaped by repatriation, hardened by collapse, and normalized by survival. There are no cultural sites here because Aresh itself is the cultural site. Stable, unremarkable, and quiet. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Davайте ախպերս, ես հելա, Արեշցիկին բարևներ ընկեր։
Չմոռանանք, որ միշտ կա մի մարդ, որ չի ուզում մեր լավը։ Իսկ ով չի ուզում մեր լավը։
Արի, 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 թեկուս անցնի տարի, թեկուս 100